This is Business Week Armenia, CivilNet's weekly business digest. Here are this week's top stories. Armenia is working with the United States and European countries to comply with sanctions against Russia, a number of senior Armenian government officials have again stressed this week. Speaking in Vienna, Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan underscored that Armenia is not going to become a space for sanctions evasion. We are working very closely and transparently not only with the relevant EU authorities but also with the US and all stakeholders to avoid creating an environment where sanctions can be circumvented, he said. Back in Yerevan, Rustam Badasyan, Armenia's customs chief, echoed those comments. We are in direct contact with both our EU and US partners. We have been working with our partners in an open and clear manner. Meanwhile, Economy Minister Vahan Karobyan stressed that while the Armenian government will not join the sanctions against the Russian Federation, we are doing everything to ensure that our local companies do not fall under secondary sanctions. The remarks came after the Financial Times newspaper ran an article exploring how used car exports from Armenia to Russia surged after the war in Ukraine began last year, putting renewed focus on Yerevan's deepening economic ties with Moscow. Trade between the two countries nearly doubled last year to top $5 billion, raising questions in Washington and Brussels about Armenia's role in supplying foreign-made products to the world's most sanctioned country. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the United States has blacklisted at least 3 Armenian companies for alleged sanctions busting. Armenia expects construction of a checkpoint on its side of a key bridge to Turkey to be completed soon, even though there is still no date for the two countries' border to reopen. That is according to Badasyan, the head of Armenia's State Revenue Committee, who told reporters this week the Armenian government is also in the process of repairing the Markara Bridge after decades of disuse. The bridge is one of 3 border crossings between Armenia and Turkey that have been shuttered now for more than 3 decades. Yerevan and Ankara recognize each other but have no formal diplomatic ties, and relations remain extremely tense. Special envoys reached a breakthrough agreement last summer to open the long-closed border to diplomatic passport holders and citizens of third countries at the earliest date possible, but more than a year on, that deal has still not been implemented. In related news, Foreign Minister Mirzoyan this week called for Armenia-Turkey normalization talks to resume, but acknowledged that at this time there is no agreed date for any further negotiations. Academic studies suggest Turkey could become one of Armenia's leading trade partners if relations between the two countries are normalized. Earlier this year, Economy Minister Karobyan forecast that opening the border with Turkey will lead to high economic growth in Armenia, while conceding that there are also risks for Armenian producers who may be forced out of the market by a flood of cheaper Turkish goods. Armenia said this week it has not received a purported letter from Azerbaijan demanding a halt to the construction of a scrap metal plant on the two countries' border. Earlier, Azerbaijani news sites began reporting that the head of Azerbaijan's Ecology and Natural Resources Ministry had sent a letter to his Armenian counterpart demanding an immediate stop to the construction of a large smelter in the Armenian border village of Yerazkh. In the letter, Baku reportedly accused Yerevan of greenlighting the Armenian-American joint venture in violation of the ESPO Convention, a United Nations treaty regulating potential cross-border environmental damage. The construction site is located just hundreds of meters from the border between Armenia and Azerbaijan's Nakhichevan exclave. In response, a spokesperson for Armenia's Environment Ministry told the Armen Press news agency the ministry has not received any official letter or communique from Azerbaijan about the planned smelter. Azerbaijani media reported that a copy of the letter had been sent to the UN as well, but there was no immediate confirmation or denial of that from the organization. Meanwhile, the company behind the project, GTB Steel, insisted in a statement that the plant will not have any transboundary impact, adding that company representatives are ready for discussions with international experts to prove that point. Since last month, Azerbaijani forces have repeatedly shelled the construction site, in one instance leaving 2 Indian nationals working there seriously injured. That prompted the State Department to issue a statement expressing deep concern over the apparent targeting of a US-affiliated company. Investors have pledged to commit up to $70 million to the project and say it will create as many as 1,000 jobs. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground in Armenia, Nagorno-Karabakh, and the region.